Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we finally have full Nebula buff information, and this is going to be short video because not all that much has changed, but that does not necessarily mean it's a bad thing. Now, in the very first part of the video, I'll quickly go over all the changes and exactly what has changed for those of you who are in a rush and don't like longer type content. And then at the end, I'm gonna give kind of like my thoughts and opinions after reading through it and thinking about the downfalls of her. First of all, it is not listed here, but I do hear on the rumor line that her block proficiency and armor rating has been improved, so she will be tankier, which is quite an important thing for Nebula to begin with. But then moving on, she really doesn't have pretty much a single new ability, except her SIG is different now, but everything that she did will work different, and she also finally gained shock immunity. Previously she was immune to 3 shock debuffs, but now she's fully shock immune. That means she is one of the triple immune champions in a game, which already kind of, slightly elevates her value. I do like that. I do like that quite a bit. Ideally, if they had given her an armor buff, I would be even more excited, but it is so it is what it is. Right, so the change here is they have given her the third self-repair charge, but they function exactly as they always did, and basically her replenishing these charges has been moved away from signature ability, and it has been moved into her base kit. As we can see here, Nebula's SIG ability just used to be that she gains these charges back, and now that's in the base kit and it's guaranteed. So far, so good. Unless otherwise stated, Nebula's shock debuffs inflict 1096.65 energy damage over 6 seconds. Now, that is slightly higher, so she will have slightly more shock damage. But the big change comes in the fact that she is going to be gaining them quite significantly faster. Now, she gains 1 charge per 0.65 seconds, whereas before the buff, it was 0.9 seconds. So that should see us through for a significant improvement on her ability to gain charges, plus she will have additional mechanic to do so later on. Still max stacks 20, and whenever she's immune to shock, you're going to gain 5 charges as well. So that will function as it did before, except it's not limited to 3. It's basically infinitely throughout the fight. So that means that there will be some cheesable fights. Also, you still have the ability accuracy reduction against robot opponents, and still, whenever you parry, then you convert your charges into shock debuffs. Right, heavy attack, the same. Special one is pretty much exactly the same. If I'm not mistaken, the power drain ability is slightly more potent because previously it was 3.5% of max power, which should add up to 10.5%. Now it's 12%, so she's going to drain slightly more power. And here, level 2 is exactly as it was before, removes all personal shock effects and doubles them up, so that has not changed at all. Now here is the bigger change on a level 3, where Nebula gains weapon overcharge passive lasting 25 seconds instead of 10. Previously, after level 3, you really didn't have much time to capitalize on those extra shocks. Now you do, and you might have a reason to go to level 3, because while active, Nebula has a 65% chance to gain an amp charge when making a contact with the opponent. That means that for the first time ever, you might be able to build up charges in non-shock debuff-related matchups and scenarios, just by getting to level 3, dropping that, striking the opponent, and rebuilding your charges. And then obviously dropping a massive level 2. Right. While active, any contact with the opponents has 75% chance to inflict the shock debuff. Now, it used to be, by the looks of it, 100% previously, but obviously now it's more than twice as long, so you should still be able to net out more shocks out of her. And her SIG ability is fairly simple. Whilst opponent is suffering from a shock debuff, you gain 25% combat power rate, which, to be fair, is fairly neat, but for like a SIG ability, it's quite underwhelming, I guess I would say, slightly. Like, it's definitely nowhere near good enough SIG ability to make anybody want to give her 6-star signature stones, for instance, I'd say. But, it's still better, definitely, because they moved SIG ability in her base kit and gave her like an extra ability here. And then when it comes to synergies, the one that can potentially be quite interesting is that gaining an amp charge pauses all shock debuffs on the opponent for 0.2 seconds. And that could, in some scenarios, let you increase your damage output by decent margin if everything works out. But other than that, there is nothing special. Right, now that we have gone over all her abilities in 5 minutes, what do I think? Making her tankier and getting her charges built up quicker are two of the most pressing things. I wish that ability to gain amp charges would not only come after level 3. I wish there was other ways how you can get them, perhaps by spamming heavy attacks or finishing combos at the double medium or something like that, that lets her build those charges without necessarily either holding block or dropping level 3. I think that that was one of the bigger things. If she could gain charges with second medium or fourth life kit or something like that, like finishing a combo with second medium gives her 1 or 2 charges, that would be perfect. But as it stands, her having full shock immunity, her keeping the best qualities of her, reducing the poorest and worst aspects, as in like the, you know, squishiness and the struggle on building up the charges, I'm genuinely kind of excited and optimistic. I really do like Nebula as is. Not necessarily like her enough to have ranked her. I haven't. I have 5-star rank 4 and a 6-star rank 1. But after the changes, pending how much of a difference we're going to see and feel playing with her, she might be one of my next tech rank ups. If not to rank 3, then to rank 2 definitely. Because, yeah, I do like what I see her. That level 3 is going to be more potent. I want to see how Sig is going to scale, because obviously you're not going to be feeding her 6-star Sig stones. I have a Sig 20 6-star Nebula. So, you know, if you still get a decent power gain increase, that would be helpful. And all in all, triple immune robot with regen when you get smacked in the face and, you know, access to shocks. Really does depend on how the playtest is going to go, but it does have, at the very least, on the paper, all the makings to make her significantly better. Even though, like, not much has changed. She has exactly the same level 1, exactly the same level 2, exactly the same mechanics, pretty much. But, you know, it's not always the biggest changes in the kit that give the biggest results. Like, you can look at Kingpin and Mole Man. They didn't change those champions that much, and now both of them are, like, phenomenal champions. So, hopefully Nebula can join them. But again, that will remain to be seen. Let me know what you guys think. So far, yeah, I like what I see here. See you guys. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about